Now, I have advised this team to go ahead and comply with the request in the document that has been unofficially put before them, that is to file their nomination and so on, and then file an action in the High Court to either legitimize the election, which is the end goal here, or postpone the election until a proper process can be outlined and agreed upon by the electorate. Let us remind ourselves that the electorate in this situation are the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who are parents and teachers throughout this country.
So what you just saw there was the result of the proverbial, the straw breaking the camel's back. And that is what that was about. Many would have seen the news report over the weekend coming out of that press conference. Attorney Richard Jagasa representing concerned individuals within the National Parents Teachers Association. Now, what's interesting for me is that I sit here as a journalist, I sit here as a presenter, producer, and all of that. But I also sit here as a unit president of the PTA of the San Fernando Girls Government Primary School. And I had my concerns as to what's happening with our covering. Now, from a spiritual place, I always say this. If your covering is not solid and your covering is not protecting you, then you stand to get wet. You stand not to be protected. And that is how many of the units were feeling for quite some time under the NPTA, in that the covering, we were getting wet, we were getting soaked, we were not being protected. And because of that, we now have a shift taking place. So joining me on set to talk about that shift and how things got to this place is the acting president of the NPTA, Mr. Clarance Mendoza. How are you, sir?
Pleasure.
And thank you for coming on the program. Now, we have just about 20 minutes, so we're going to make the best of it. All right? The PTA is an institution. The NPTA is an institution, rather. And it has been a very disturbing chain of events that maybe many members of the public are not aware of. So just take us back as into where did things go wrong and where are we today in the context of the NPTA in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, Sheldon, you know, being the first vice president and moving up now to the acting president of the NPTA, we had a lot of differences which based on the Constitution, we need to correct. And in doing so, we would have started with the financials of the organization. The financial of the organization is in dire need of repairs. Okay, we get a subvention from the government. We also get subventions for after-school centers. And over the years, we lost our way in terms of conducting our affairs how it's supposed to be when you're dealing with taxpayers' money. I would have spoken to both past presidents on getting it right. And today, here we are today, sitting on your set to discuss where we went wrong. And it's not about where we went wrong, it's where we need to go and where members need to learn. And the learning aspect of it starts with the units and the region. Right. Training, you see? And we talk about training and we talk about financials. I'm a person, I'm particular for financials and having it done in the right way.
And when you say the right way in terms of what, because I entitled the show today, The Road to Transparency.
Correct.
So would you say that there wasn't enough transparency in the finances of the organization?
Correct. Still today, we need more transparency within our finances. It should be published. When it comes out, unit financials make up that of the regions make up that of the national.
Right.
And when we audit books, so we ask units and regions to get their books audited, it should be audited before their election. No elections is done throughout Trinidad and Tobago without your financials being audited and presented. And I'm saying again to the region, all 8 regions, including all units underneath the regions, that their financials must be in order. It must be up for scrutiny before we have any elections. You see? And until we can get that corrected, there will be no elections. There will be no elections. The finances of the organization for 60 years, no one can say the organization worth 80 million. Not one region can say my region worth 20 million. And I've been saying it for years. I've been the financial treasurer in 2011, 2012, and I continue to say it. You see?
So people ask the question, where's the money? People are going to ask the question, what's being done?
Well, in 2017...
Because I'm new to this, so in terms of being done the inside, people are going to ask those questions.
The question was asked in 2017, November 2017, at our conference of delegates. The question was asked, do we have an overdraft account? Nobody could have answered. I would have walked away from the head table because I had questioned myself. You see, and today the questions still hasn't been answered. And until the question is answered, the NPTA will be at the doorstep. It wouldn't be inside. You see, I've prepared all financial document that I have seen that is not up to par. Whether it's the treasurer or whoever it may be, the accountant or the financial advisors to the NPTA, they have to answer and get it right.
The road to transparency and also the road to recovery.
Correct.
And I think it's important for the public to understand that the position that yourself and others have taken is to get the NPTA back to the road to recovery.
That's correct.
And that begins with trust.
That's correct.
But in order for trust to take place, there's also the pathway of humility.
That's
right? Scripture that speaks about, if man will humble themselves, that he will heal the land.
Correct.
So the same thing, that land heals, then therefore whatever's in the land will heal too. So I'm saying that to say, Saturday was supposed to be the election. Of course, it never came up because of, you can give some more detail to that. But where do we go from here? How do we now get the public, the parents in particular, and even the teachers, because it's NPTA.
That's it.
Because there seems to be this among some individuals, which I can't seem to understand or comprehend, like it's a us and me thing. No, it's a us thing, period. Because, so how do we now get to that place of the population trusting the NPTA like they used to? Because the NPTA was a movement. I wouldn't even call it it was a movement to bring forth change. It still is, but moving a little awkward. So we want to get it back into a straight path. How do we now get back to recovery?
You see, getting back to recovery means constitutional reform, number one, on the table. Understanding that this is not about me or you, it's about the children of Trinidad and Tobago. And until we get that understanding that this is what we are doing here is for our native children of Trinidad and Tobago, and foreign children too. We wouldn't be going anywhere. And today I sit here and I'm asking myself, after all these years in the NPTA and PTA, president of Pleasantville Secondary School PTA, president of San Fernando Boys Government School PTA, and so forth, where are we today? It's 60 years today, or this year, 60 years, and the organization is still at a standstill. We have brought changes on board. Myself and other executive members, we have tabled certain aspects. We look to bring on the PTA credit union, so forth. We have boards with the Principals Association, the tutor representative, the Ministry of Education, and we have reached the way we have met with basically all regions, SS1, 2s, and 3s. In saying that, the Principals Association it's an integral part when we talk about PTA in your school. We must have good dialogue with our principals.
Of course.
You see? And in doing that, that brings on parenting.
All right.
Yeah? We usually bring our parenting to National Family Services, DA Division. We will write to them, and other stakeholders will come on board. So when we talk about healing, at this point in time, it's through election. Proper elections for the NPTA. No longer will be voting in a cardboard box. It's 60 years now.
Yeah.
And with our executive as it stands right now, we'll be going into a meeting tomorrow, please God, to where we can chart the way forward for fresh elections for the NPTA. And when we say fresh elections, we have already had discussions that each region should have a ballot box. No longer one ballot box in a corner of the country, and people like Cedros, Point, Guayagurari cannot.
I'm not able to.
Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah. Even.
And I heard that position that you took was fought by some.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you see, we will also say Tobago because Tobago have to fly down or take the boat to come down here. But no one person speaks for Tobago, and we must understand that. I don't speak for everyone.
Right.
You see, it's the views of a collective executive that makes this decision. So we're going to sit tomorrow in council with our executive member who is now back on board, based on the constitution of the NPTA, and based on what we have discussed with our attorneys.
Let's take us back to Saturday and more so Monday, and what exactly the court ruled. I know, again, not every media house may have reported it in detail, so I'll give you an opportunity now to explain to the public exactly what happened in court.
Okay. We filed a petition based on the election proceedings that were taking place with the interim committee.
Yeah.
Now, this interim committee was constituted in a general council. This interim committee at the general council were made up of presidents of each region. Presidents of each region now constitute national executive members who sits on the region as president.
Right.
At that meeting, we would have also seen where national officers who the council had no confidence in were brought back on. And I'm saying that because, you know, through Trinidad and Tobago, you would hear things, but you won't hear the council, you won't see the legal minutes, and so forth. So by bringing back on the national executive members who you just said you had no confidence in, and 4 national officers who weren't even there. They were never served any documents stating why, what the reason, what the motion was about, or anything. And, you know, Article 20 of the Constitution were quoted. And at the end of the day, the Constitution guides us. It guides the organization in a particular way, but we cannot abuse it. And based on our attorney's advice and taking it to the court, it was understood that it was unconstitutional what was done. We do have a disciplinary committee, which I'm the chairperson of.
Right.
And in terms of disciplinary actions, if a motion is brought, it's brought against an individual, not a group. We wouldn't sit here and move a motion against moving the government of Trinidad and Tobago and accept that. Individuals are moved. And by moving them, you have an investigation based on whatever the legality or the issue were.
Right.
No issue were given to why move a motion on an entire executive. Right? So it's unconstitutional. So that's why I've been reinstated as the acting president of the organization on the fact that our national president resigned. So as the first vice president, I'm now assumed that position as acting president. I have called on all national officers to a meeting tomorrow, please God, so we can chart the way forward, prepare a proper document to take back to the High Court on March 13th.
I'm listening to you there, and I'm seeing where your vision is very clear, right? And you mentioned in years gone by, 2012, 2013, 14, etc., going up the road that you would have pleaded and begged for certain things to get done. But, you know, as they say, you know, and it's very interesting, when we look at your body, I use this term ever so often, you know, the body of Christ. So therefore, if one member is out of place, the whole body is crippled. So the thing is, you can try how much you wish, because you would have been there when some of these same nonsense or, you know, unethical activities taking place. And again, you're trying, right? But because so many members are crippling the body of NPTA, it's difficult to move forward.
It is.
Now, that being said, I would have encountered some individuals who were part of the NPTA who, in my humble opinion, based on personal interactions, do not represent the NPTA well, how they speak to parents, how they speak to, and not understanding that all of us are stakeholders in this thing, and some of them are very disrespectful. I had my share of that already, right? How do we address that in terms of, yes, you have to vote them out, but some of them, there seems to be a stronghold that they have. How do we deal with that?
Well,
that's what I'm hoping that this is with the ballot box thing in different. I hope that really comes to pass.
Well, we are going to source the elections and boundaries to guide us and give us training.
Oh, okay, that's it.
All right. And no longer will we just go in and do an election, like I say, in a cardboard box. That days for that is over. It's 60 years.
So that's good news.
The organization is older than the independent of Trinidad and Tobago. And here we are with a cardboard box in a corner. No, that has to move on. And when you talk about the disrespect to members, parents, and anyone for that matter,
Anyone, teachers, doesn't matter.
anyone for that matter of fact, is something that we worked on, and we're going to continue to work
Because I've
on.
heard teachers mention that they felt, it hasn't been the best of relationships. And I've heard that from different units.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, just as, because again, I know time is against us. I know there are members of various units watching. About 3 years ago, there was a sod turning.
Correct.
One of the questions that people are asking,
Correct.
in all honesty, Mr. Mendoza,
Correct.
of what was supposed to be the NPTA headquarters.
Correct.
Well, I understand Tutor has since come and they built
theirs next door.
Can you shed some light on that, or you can't say much at this point in time?
In 2017, we would have prepared for sod turning.
Right.
Maybe in the convener of the Land and Building Committee, along with Mr. Samuel Strand. We'd have piloted that along with executive members. We'd have prepared a meeting with stakeholders, hoteliers, and so forth, embassy members from Trinidad and Tobago and the wider world, that they can come and sit down and dialogue with us in terms of preparing a document where they can give us some advice on moving forward in building a hotel. The NPTA, we're looking forward to build a hotel on their land. And in building the hotel, we are looking at conference center rooms and offices for each region.
A lot was shown on, I was there, yeah.
So in moving towards the sod turning, there was something that we piloted and we got it the way we reached. In terms of the financials for the project, that's where we are looking at stakeholders.
Right.
And that's why today we are saying we must know what our regions and unit is value.
Right.
If we don't know what NPTA's value, we are wasting time. How could we look to speak to stakeholders and say, well, okay, we are looking to raise $26 million to build, and we cannot say if we have $5. You see? So we will start a discussion with the Ministry of Labor in terms of bringing on board a credit union or cooperative society, to where all our parents can be involved, and we can now work with things like scholarships for our children coming out of school. You see? And this is the vision we have for the NPTA at this point in time. See?
I really want to appreciate and thank you for the clarity in addressing this issue. I speak as a journalist as well as, again, unit president, just a few years in, second time, of course, reinstated. But again, I understand the concept of us, and my theme has always been building bridges, and I'm really praying that what we're seeing happening here, this shift, and you've been clamoring for so many years, and I'm really praying that, we pray that God sends the right people to work with you in charting the way forward. That's all we can ask for.
That's it.
All right?
That's it.
So I want to thank you very much. Again, we'll continue with Mr. Mendoza another time. But this, of course, acting president of the NPTA, Clarance Mendoza, sheds light on the situation with the NPTA moving forward. So quickly, any timeline for the elections, or you'll have to announce that in due season?
We want to prepare our documents as an executive,
and
come up with an executive decision.
No problem. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thanks for
coming. All right.